Hey, Wrong World Entertainment, and yes, we have something important to talk about because holy hell, how did someone ever think this was a good idea? But Amandla Stenberg, the Acolytes, OSHA, and May, ironically, the name of a soap company in Canada. Yeah, way go, Leslie Helen, the former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein. You really branched out to get the names for these two, eh? Well, she has not just attacked Star Wars fans and critics of this show in general, she has gone above and beyond because this dumb little idiot decided to go ahead and write, direct, sing, and edit and upload a song, if you could call it that. And we'll put that in massive air quotes. The one thing I took away from this song is she's very consistent with her singing and her dancing and stuff as she is with her acting. That being, it's horrendous. So, I am going to spare you having to watch the almost 4-minute long song that she did in response to the criticism of the Acolyte. But I will show you bits of it. I'll show you how it opens, and then we'll speak a bit, and then I'll show you how it ends, because what she says at the end of the song is just like mind-blowingly stupid. But here is how this absolute cringe fest begins, because once you see it, you can't unsee it or unhear it. So this is how she starts this thing. Good God. The last time I saw something move like that, it was having a stroke. What was that? Holy Jesus. But then it gets worse because, yeah, you're hearing the start of this song saying, we so bored, don't fuck with your discourse. It's like, okay. By the way, she released this on Juneteenth, which was when the slaves got freed or something in the States. It's a big American thing. We don't have it anywhere else. But, wow. And she starts it off by singing, "I'm going viral on Twitter again. Open up the news to find some interesting things. 20 million views. Interview from 2018 with Trevor the King when I was 13. To start with, Trevor Noah the King. Are you kidding me? Second of all, she was 20 years of age when she did that interview in 2018. So why is she saying 13? Is she identifying as a child now as well as being a daydam and whatnot? But it continued anyway, saying, I was running from city to city to speak on a story, you know the one, police murdering a black boy. My people cried in theatres finding release. White people cried. They could see us as human beings. Wow. Trevor asked what I want the people to know. I said white people crying was the goal. If they could take one thing, that would be, what would it be? Sorry. I said empathy. Ooh, that's why they mad at me. Yeah. Jesus Christ. By the way, this whole clip, now, a couple of people took it out of context. Not out of context of what she said, because it's quite clear what she said. She wanted white people to cry. She wanted them to feel bad. That was her goal. That puts what her mindset is. You know, what people got confused is they thought, all of like 2 people who actually put it into their videos and said it, they thought this was an interview for the Acolyte, and it wasn't. It was for The Hate You Give, which is quite clear when you watch the clip as well, because it starts off with Trevor Noah saying, in The Hate You Give, what was the purpose, and blah blah blah. So yeah, they're not mad at you because they thought it was about Star Wars. It's because that shows everyone who is going to be the head of this new show, being the Acolyte. It's just another one of these little wannabe racists. So we'll continue with what she sings. As I said, I'll read it out to you. I'm not going to play it for you. Your ears don't deserve that. But anyway, she sings then, they splice lines, make hate they recognize, make it look like the same propaganda they spew, because they conflate our pain with violence and try to weaponize everything that we do. The desperation of oppressors is rising, and now they're holding onto any old thing they can use. If you rely upon misinformation, then that tells me you're afraid of the truth. Okay, Amandla, what truth? What truth exactly do you think they're afraid of? Anyone want to jump in and answer that? No. And then, of course, you hear this horrendous bloody chorus of hers. Then she sings, and now you listening, I'ma tell you something fascinating. They spinning woke bastardizes it and appropriate it. Last I recall, woke was something we created. Speak truth to power. Keep an eye out for you silly racists. Now, the word woke being taken to be used against these people, yeah, that did happen. Ironically, this has also happened with the word racism, because this idiot doesn't realize what that actually was, what real racism was. It wasn't something you said, it was an act. Like putting a burning cross in someone's yard. That was an act of racism. But they've taken it and appropriated it to make it seem like everything is racism nowadays. And that's the problem. The actual word racist and racism has lost all meaning, because they spend so much time day in and day out saying how absolutely everything is now racism. Like, you think of it, she has made this song in relation to what she is claiming is racism towards her and the show. And the funny thing about this is, out of a 4-minute long track, out of all the articles that have been written to defend this show, out of all the shills jumping in, even cast members jumping out there and spewing out bullshit, not once, even in this song, not once have they shown any evidence of racist backlash. Zero. Zilch. Nowhere at all. And speaking of the old articles that have been written to defend this thing, well, they mustn't be going far enough for a little Amandla here, because she takes a shot at them as well. Yeah, she gets to this point where she says, speaking of which, journalists, I'm looking at you. Did you forget it's your job to provide the truth? Spreading divisiveness, mining the marks and data. Seem you gave up all your ethics for money and views. And I can tell that the people are tired and the kids don't trust anything that they view. We can learn something from their discernment. The future's coming and it's always the youth. Wow. So she's saying journalists are spreading misinformation, which she's not completely wrong on that. But then she's trying to say the fact that actual metrics and data and stuff are being used to show you how things are either succeeding or failing is pushing back against it and spreading divisiveness and stuff. Are you shitting me? And then to say you gave up your ethics for money and views. Again, that's interesting, because Disney pay the critics for their views on Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, they actually pay no access. They get $50 to sell their soul, basically, to give reviews. That was confirmed. Not to mention, what about that journalist who did do the interview on a podcast and said, oh yeah, we have to take the bait heavy now and again, even if we think it's bullshit, we have to say we enjoyed it, so yeah. As for saying the kids don't trust anything they view, well, does that include everything you retards spout out about trans and pride and all this crap, everything that you're spewing into their daily lives, would you be including that? Because you would have to be including that. Yeah. And to say the future is coming and it's always the youth. And then she gives this weird little stupid smiley tongue out face for that moment. Yeah, you're right. The future is the youth. Not your youth though, because you're starting to pass the prime mark for that. It's the people behind you then that will be the next in line, and then after them, and so on and so forth. You're not part of the future. No. You're currently the present. So, with that, unfortunately, you are going to have to hear a tiny bit of this crap. I will have to play the end of this track for you, just so you can hear what the hell she says, because this last part really is the funniest part of this whole thing. So let's play it and then we'll talk about it. So this is how the track ends.
Don't let it get to my spirit, but I'm sick and fucking tired of suppressing my rage. 400 years of taking the bullshit to compartmentalize that my ancestors had to encage. If you don't confront the pain that you live with, it'll manifest as addiction, diseases, and hate. I've seen the infection repression can give you. I'm not gonna be the next one sent to an early grave.
Yeah. So she's sick and tired of suppressing her rage. 400 years of taking their bullshit to compartmentalize like my ancestors had to engage. Are you serious? Just in case you didn't know this about little Amandla Stenberg here as well. Yeah, her ancestors and all this stuff she's talking about in 400 years of oppression and stuff. Her father's white and Danish. Yeah, you're not exactly a 100% thoroughbred there, are you? No, your dad must be so proud. But she's saying it's gonna put them in an early grave and stuff like this. Are you insane? And I think the only reaction every single one of us can have to this, like when I got up yesterday morning and I saw this thing, I couldn't believe it. And the only reaction I think I've had, I think the reaction everyone else online has had, and everyone with at least half a brain and an IQ above 4, this was probably all of our reactions.
You serious?
What an idiot!
Yeah, that's all you could do, was laugh at this young 20-something-year-old writing a 4-minute long track talking about racism and all this bullshit. Not once in the almost 4-minute track putting in any evidence of this racism. Never in any of the articles talking about this show and its terrible ratings and stuff is there any evidence of racism. They're also once again attacking fans saying they're racist. You know, the fans who enjoyed the likes of Mace Windu. James Earl Jones is the voice. Even Ahmed Best. Everyone liked him. Yeah, no one particularly liked Jar Jar, but people liked him. And of course, Billy D. Williams and so on and so forth. To jump in and try and say they're all racist because this show is dog shit. Like, this has become such a joke now that to criticize a show or a performance or anything like that, it's oh, it's not criticism anymore, it's racism, it's bigotry, it's masculinity, it's all this crap, it's all toxic. No, maybe, just maybe, it's the fact that your show is actually dog shit with some horrendous writing, horrendous dialogue, horrendous acting, horrendous looking sets, and this thing cost $180 million. Now, we just did the review for episode 4 where the Wookiee Jedi Kalnaka is dead. Next to Qui-Gon Jinn, the only other fucking person to die from a lightsaber, only he got slashed rather than stabbed. Turns out, in a $180 million production, they cut out an action fight scene with him because they didn't have, and I quote from the director of it, the budget. What? What? What do you mean you didn't have the budget? You had $180 million. You filmed people walking through a forest for half an hour and you cut out the Wookiee fighting because you didn't have the budget. But now, the biggest question has to come, what is going to actually happen with Amandla Stenberg after this stunt? Because we've just watched a judge in California tell Disney, oh, your case against Gina Carano, yeah, that's not getting dismissed. And in fact, if you want it to be dismissed, I think we're going to have to see Discovery. So we get to see all their dirty little secrets pouring out. You know, because Gina retweeted one person's tweet, which was a historical fact in the tweet. It had nothing to do with people's religion or their race or anything like that. It was how the Nazi party turned people's neighbours against them to sell them out, basically. And they fired her from that, saying it was anti-Semitic and all this crap. Now we've just had a almost 4-minute long track with this idiot singing about how she's full of rage and how everyone is racist and we're all bigots, and the fact that she even attacks the mainstream media, basically. I think all we could say to that is, it's your move, Disney, because how could you stand by and let this go, but you fire Gina Carano for a tweet? This thing as well may give Gina even more ammunition to say, hey, look, Your Honor, I put out a tweet that's historically accurate. Look, and yet they have a company and an actress who've just did this and nothing has happened. Who thought this thing was a good idea? Who backed her to do this? Did Disney know about this? Did she go to Disney and say, look what I made, is it okay if I put it out? And they said, yeah? Like, how did this thing get out? Who was behind her saying this is a great idea? Nothing can go wrong from this, because this is a disaster. And no matter what happens to her career and her life from here on out, this thing will be forever. And oh boy, is it a disaster. So, Amandla Stenberg, you wrote your little 4-minute long rap song calling all of us racist and everything else. And I will leave this video right here. So, cheers. And I'll catch you in the next one. But Amandla, I'll leave the video closing out with a song from us to you. I'll catch you all in the next one.
You're a cunt.